Hi, I'd like to share with you a perfect technique that I've come up with to hang up picture frames. So let's say that you have a picture frame and you want it to look really nice on the wall. So the best way that I've come up to do it is you lay down your picture frame and come around here, please. What you do is you just need a couple of small tools. The first you take is a large piece of tape and you cut it so that it stretches across where the two holes would be. Make sure you line it up and have the same reference point for both holes. So my piece of tape, the top edge of my tape, goes to this black line on both sides. You then take a Sharpie marker or a pencil or anything really, and you give yourself two dots right where you want your holes to go, right where you want your nails to go. One other way besides the dots, one other thing that I've come up with, actually I find it a little easier, is you make a straight line and a T. So you make a line across this way and this way. Give yourself a nice T, a nice landmark for where you want to put the nail. And when you're done, what you have is a piece of tape that looks like this, and that tells you the distance between where you want the two nails, as well as it gives you the opportunity to tack it to the wall and figure out where you want it in the wall. So as you can see, I already did it. So what you would do is you would slap it on the wall, and then you would play around with it and look at it from far and make sure that's where you want it. So I already did it where I wanted it. The best part about this is it's all disposable. And then the extra step to make sure it's perfectly level is you take a ruler, just a straight line basically, and a leveler. Line it up with your two T's, and then if you put your leveler on it, you'll make sure that it's level. Can you come in here and see that? So right now, I have it right in the middle of the leveler, which tells me that my two T's, where my two positions where my nails are, is perfectly level with the wall. And if it's not perfectly level, you just take it off and re-slap it on until you have it where you want it. And it could take a few times, but be patient with it and make sure you have it where you want it. I'll pause here back. Sorry for that interruption. The next step is actually quite easy. Once you have this exactly leveled and positioned where you want it on the wall, you would just take your nail and bang it in right in the center of the T. And you see, I have it right where I want it. Do it for both spots. And you know that this will fit perfectly with the picture between the two spots. You then rip this off and throw it out. And then you hang up your picture. Voila. And hopefully that looks just like you wanted it to look, and it came out perfect on the first time without making a bunch of little holes. Now, there's one last little project. So this works, as you can see. I did it for basically everything, and we just moved into this house, so there was a lot to hang up. I did the same thing for over here. I took a piece of tape and I stretched it across from this hole to this hole. I marked exactly the dots where I wanted it. I stretched a piece of tape across, and then I tilted my holes. It's exactly the same technique, and of course it comes out nice. It comes out just perfect. So that's two. There's one upstairs. Just follow with me for a second. I want to show you. This is like a nuance to it when you have multiple picture frames. So just come with me upstairs quickly. And as you can see here on this wall, I have three pictures, and we already hung it, but I just kind of want to show you what I did. So you want this, gets a little bit harder when you have three. So what I do is I lay it out on the carpet where I want it. And because I like everything, I'm kind of OCD, I want everything to be perfectly symmetrical. I lay it out, I use my ruler to flatten it so that I know the tops are all straight. And that's why it's important to have a ruler like this, a hard ruler. You also want to measure, say you want 2 inches between each, which is what I wanted. So I wanted to go from 11 to 13, that's 2 inches gap between these two. And again, I want there to be 2 inches. So I would go from 25 1/4 to 27 1/4. So now you know you have it exactly where you want it. And from here on out, it's exactly the same thing. Take a piece of tape long enough that it will stretch across all three. Actually, that wasn't long enough. Take a piece of tape that is long enough, and then from here on out, it's exactly the same. Make sure your tape is exactly where you want it, and it goes across all three, and it's level. You mark the dots, you hang it on the wall. Okay, let me mark the dots for you. And then make sure you have it right where you want it, center it where the position is. And as you can see, I already did this. You take your leveler, make sure the dots are where you want it, bang them in right through the tape, and then rip the tape off afterwards, and then you can hang up the pictures and it should look just perfect. Anyway, I hope that helps. Thanks for watching the video. That's the little thing I wanted to add. One thing that I really like about this technique is that once you've transferred onto the piece of tape the relative positions to where you want the nails, you then have all day to position it on the wall. And that's something that I really like, because what you could do is, this is where I put it last time, and what you notice is I want it to be centered between the two windowsills. And so that gives you the opportunity to measure between the sill on the first nail on this side and the sill on the first nail on this side, and then you can pick it up and move it as you wish. You can move it a little bit up, a little bit down, a little bit to the side. It's not permanent, and the best part about it is the tape just keeps coming on and off and keeps transferring until you have it where you want it. And then, of course, once you have it where you want it, you would bang your nails, or if you're using screws for something a little bit heavier, you would go right through the tape. And then you peel the tape off after you have everything down where you want it. And that's what I wanted to add. Thanks.